Hey guys, Brian delivers you the goods here. I'm returning to you for an album review this morning for Solence Angels Calling. I hope you will enjoy this album review. So, I will discuss from what I listened to for this very short record, only 27 and a half minutes, close to 28 minutes. And I'll let you know my thoughts on the 10 tracks on this record overall. So, let's dive into this album review. Now, it starts with the title track, Angels Calling, which is a very good track to finish. Um, the chipmunk vocals in the background are a little weird and all that, but it works for how it sounds. So I'd give it a 5 out of 5. Marcus's singing in this track is very good, and it was a very enjoyable track from start to finish. So another 5 out of 5 goes to this track. Um, Basically a 5 out of 5 goes to this track. Enjoyed it when I first listened to it as the fourth and final single for the record's announcement, which this song came out like at the last Friday of September 26th. But it overall is a very good one. I'm glad they didn't release another song because overall it's definitely an enjoyable track for sure. Definitely a great opening track. And the electronics in it are pretty good too, so it flows well. So 5 out of 5. Monsters in My Head is another good one that I enjoyed. Marcus's singing in this is very good. So is the production and mixing. And the drumming and guitar work is very good too. From David Stroff and the other bandmates did very well in this track. So another great song that I personally enjoyed. So 5 out of 5 goes to Monsters in My Head. I really enjoyed the singing in this track and the execution did very well. You was the first single to be released before they announced this record, but it overall is a very good one from start to finish. I enjoyed how Marcus is singing very good, and overall, with the guitar work and drum work, did very well, and the production and electronics in it are very good too. So I'm really digging this track. Another 5 out of 5. It's still getting the same rating when I first listened to it, but I didn't listen to this song till like June. I know it came out in May, but I didn't listen to it then, but I gave it a shot in June and was seeing what I thought of it, and to my avail, I really enjoyed it. Mess is a very good one that I personally enjoyed. I enjoyed Marcus's singing in this. I enjoyed the guitar work and drum work in this. And overall, I mean, I wasn't sure how I was going to feel about this track at first, but I did enjoy it for how it sounded. So another 5 out of 5. Like I said, I had a bit of critiques with this song, but nothing to the extreme where I think it's the worst track. It's a really good track, by the way. Live is a 42-second track, and it's the interlude to the next song, Dead Alive. It introduces the Dead Alive track, but it has really nice acoustic guitar work in this track, and it does very well for the execution, but it is very short. It's only 2 seconds, so like I said, you're in for a very short interlude track. Nothing much, but it does work. 5 out of 5. Dead Alive was the second single for the record, and overall was the one that announced this album's release, and it did very well for the execution. So I really enjoyed Marcus's singing in this track, and overall David Stroff's guitar work was really good, and the drum work and all that, and the production in this track did very well. So another 5 out of 5 goes to this track. Wish You the Worst is a great song too. It was the third single for the record, and overall was a pretty good one too, from start to finish. The electronics in it did very well, and Marcus's singing in it was pretty good. So I really enjoyed that aspect about this track. It is the seventh song on the record, but it did very well as a third single. So 5 out of 5. Dangerous to Love is another good one that I enjoyed. Like I said, I listened to it twice this morning to see what I was going to think of it, and I did enjoy it to my avail. So, Dangerous to Love's a 5 out of 5. I enjoyed Marcus's singing in this track, and the overall execution of this track did very well from start to finish. So the next one is All of the Pain Must Go, and it is another good one. I like the choir chant vocals in the background with Marcus's singing, and it does very well for the execution. For this almost 4-minute song, you're in for a pretty good one. The electronics do overtake this song a bit, but it does sound pretty well mixed for sure. So I really enjoyed this track, and it's a 5 out of 5 for sure. Then we get to the closing track, Angels versus Demons, which is only a minute and 45 seconds, but it executes very well for how it sounded. And I really enjoyed this track from start to finish. So, it is a very short song. So is Alive is a 42-second track. It's a little shorter, Alive is, but this one is a minute and 45 seconds. So it's the outro track to the record, and it overall did very well with Marcus's singing from time to time in this track. So the chorus was the highlight, and the closing aspect was the highlight to this record. So 5 out of 5. Overall, production, mixing, and execution wise, I think Solence Angels Calling is a really strong record. Yes, it is a very short record. You're not in for a long album. You're only in for like about 28 minutes of a listen, or close to 28 minutes of a listen. But it overall did very well for the production, mixing, and execution. So I think the electronics do overtake this record a lot, but it does sound very well mixed. And I think Marcus singing through most of this record was really good. This record flowed very well, and it's a great record from start to finish. It's worth listening to, worth purchasing, and if I were to give, worth purchasing it on CD, of course. But if I were to give Solence Angels Calling a score, I'm giving it a very strong, perfect score of a 10 out of 10. Another great record that I enjoyed this year. It is worthy to be in the best albums of 2025, and it was very enjoyable for sure. I really enjoyed this. I hope Solence watches this review and hope they enjoy it too. My take on it, and overall, I think they did a very good job. I know they've been commenting on my latest reviews of their new songs, the singles that have already dropped, but overall I hope they enjoyed this album review too, and I hope you guys enjoyed this album review for Solence Angels. 10 out of 10 for this perfect record. Yes, it is a very short record. That's the only disappointing aspect of it, that you don't get enough songs, but it's worthy of a listen, and it is an enjoyable listen. So 10 out of 10 for Solence Angels Calling. Hopefully you enjoyed this album review this almost early afternoon. Thank you guys for watching.